Good morning. Welcome to Friday's Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. Happy Friday the 13th. And I hope your mindset is that Friday the 13th is a lucky day. It is a lucky, lucky, lucky day, right? So we'll start from there and let's move on to some breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good morning, Abigail. You're the first one joining me today. Welcome, welcome. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And I can already feel the serendipitous things that are lining up today. So I was in the middle of a thought process. And good morning, Ruth Ann. Welcome. Glad you're here. And the thought process was about how oftentimes the things that we think are bad in our lives turn out to have some great growth potential for us in them. And I was thinking about later today when I am gifting my old car to someone who needs a vehicle to safely haul children around. And when I opened the card deck for today, and I was a little struck by the fact that it's the same deck today that we've been having, Nature Portals, I thought to myself, well, I wonder which card we're going to get. And as I was shuffling, then I opened to a space, and the card that we have for today is a pretty amazing card. But the card next to it, in the title of the card, is the first name of the person I'm gifting the card to. I thought that was quite interesting. Quite interesting. So just that validation that the universe gives you that, yep, you're headed in the right direction. So, two of you this morning. Interesting. I'm thinking, what is it? It's Friday. Duh, Bonnie. You just said it. It's Friday. So I'm thinking, where's everybody on a Friday? We'll give them a minute. We'll let them pop in. Let's do a round of tapping just to clear ourselves, to open up. There's Cindy. Good morning, good morning. So let's start with the side of the hand. And we don't need any words because we're just tapping to clear. But if you have words, feel free to throw them in there. You can start with even though, and then fill in the blank. Whatever's going on in your life, just fill in the blank. Good morning, Gwen. We're just doing a round of tapping to clear stuff out to get us ready for this fabulous card. And actually, I'm moving on. Let's do it for this card, because the card is about embracing life's twists and turns. So it's just, even though my life has twists and turns, I still love my life. Even though some things happen that aren't pleasant, there's always things for me to learn from that. Even though things sometimes seem dark, out of nowhere can come the light. Inside corner of eyebrows, I choose to be the light. Outside corner of the eyes. That way the light is with me always. Under the eyes, things unfold in divine right order. Under the nose, sometimes that means I need to be patient. Under the mouth, sometimes good things come out of nowhere. Collarbone, I look forward to those things. Under the arms, it's Friday the 13th today. Around the crown of the head, what do I choose to believe about that? Inside corner of the eyebrows, I make my life out of the choices I make. Outside corner of the eyes, I make good choices. Under the eyes, I allow good things to happen to me. Good morning, Linda. We're just doing a little tapping to get started. Under the nose, I embrace what seems bad. Good morning, Chrissy. Under the mouth, knowing that there are gifts in there for me. Collarbone, I choose to ask, what's in here for me? Good morning, Carolyn. Welcome, welcome. Under the arms, my path is divinely guided. Around the crown of the head, I choose to believe all is well. Nice deep breath. Let it go. And let's dive into this beautiful card we have. So again, Nature Portals deck, Inspiration Through the Peace and Beauty of Nature by Bruce and Carol Melner. Here is our twisty turny card. And it says, embrace life's twists and turns. Embrace life's twists and turns. Why did the tree trunk grow this way? Probably to overcome an obstacle. Good morning, Janine. Welcome. No matter what was in its way, it twisted and turned to keep growing. It directed all of its energy into growing in the direction that was available. So it just kept going, just kept going. The result is surprisingly unique and beautiful. Look for examples of twists and turns in nature, obstacles that created unexpected results. And I'm going to put the word obstacles in quotes because I think sometimes those things are designed to be like the bumpers in a bowling alley. They're guiding us in a particular way. They're heading us on our divine path. Sometimes we just need those kinds of yields, stop signs, arrows, whatever it is. What twists and turns has your life taken? So let's mess with that a little bit before I read the quote. I want you to think about something back in your life that you thought was like the most terrible, worst, awful, horrible thing that happened to you. Might be someone's death, might be a divorce, might be what you framed as a shameful, humiliating thing. Pick one. Just pick one. You can use this process with any of them that come up, but just pick one for now. Good morning, Beth. Welcome. So pick out something in your life that at the time seemed terrible, horrible, awful. And I want you to just remember that thing. And you might feel some of the yuck that's still attached to that thing. But now I want you to take a step back from it. Distance yourself from it. In fact, float up above it. And you're the observer of it. You're stepping into your curious observer. And you're looking at that situation, event, altercation, whatever it was, through the lens of the curious observer. Good morning, Angie. Welcome. Glad you're here. What do you notice? What were the gifts from your vantage point above, looking down? What were the gifts that were inherent in that terrible, horrible, awful situation? What did you take away from there? It might have been years later that you mined these gold nuggets out of that event. But what were the gifts that you took away from that? It might be, it was important for me to speak up. It might be, this is what happens when I trust people freely and don't pay attention to the signs that my gut is giving me. This is what happens, finding your independence. Yes, 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 there we go. What else? What are the things that you learned from that not fun situation that have served you well since then? Right? One situation that I figured out with my divorce was it did not serve me to subrogate all of my needs to trying to please everybody else. Did not work. What did you learn? If you want to, kind of like Chrissy, if you want to throw into the feed, good morning, Diane, welcome. If you want to throw into the feed what you learned, what's been helpful, what's the nugget of gold that you took out of that terrible, horrible, awful. Yes, you're Cancer. Appreciate life more. Yes, yes, yes. Cancer is an amazing warning bell, right? How well do we listen? When we break a bone, my friend Bobby, poor Bobby, all the time, not recently, which means she's learning, she's growing, would wreck an ankle. You deserve respect. Absolutely, absolutely. Her ankle twisting, sprained, whatever, was a sign, a message, okay, you need to slow down. You need to take a look at the things that you're doing and see if they are serving you in the way that you want them to serve you, right? I'm running into one right now where another seeming barrier is getting thrown up on the project, the housing project. I took a day. I needed a day, like, oh, this is not a happy thing. And now I'm coming at it from, what is this meant to teach me? Is this telling us to take a little different path in terms of how we're going to fund this thing? What's the message here? Being curious, being very curious about where is this now leading me? And again, one of the overall lessons I think all of us will agree that we've learned from all those situations is listen to your gut. Listen to your gut, that wise inner self, your heart and soul, that speaks pretty quietly when it says, it's time for this to be done, or you deserve better than this, or you need to take a look at what you're doing here, or really truly pausing, stopping, listening, taking the time. Again, I'm reading the book Deep Work, and his premise over and over, he's talking a lot about business, but I think it's totally applicable to life as well. That when we're running around willy-nilly, listening to every bing, boom, and pop that our electronics make, we're missing out on the fundamental value of diving deep into life. What am I meant to be learning here? Imagine, I'd like to challenge us all. 1 hour a day. Turn off all the electronics. 1 hour. And some of you who are still working will say, well, people expect to hear back from me. Uh-huh. People in hell want ice water. Do we always get what we want? No. So, for 1 hour a day, if there are some people who are waiting to hear from you, too bad. Too bad. In fact, you are giving them the opportunity to grow into deep work. When they have to wait for your response for 1 lousy hour, I'm to the point where there's going to be days where I'm turning this thing off because too much impingement. Even yesterday, as I had some space to try to catch up on the things that needed to be done, there were still those interferences. In the book, he's also talking about the punishment, quote unquote, punishment that people get when they do deep work. So he's talking about several Nobel Prize laureates and very award-winning writers and professors, etc., and how their system, the deep work, gets them to the places where they're meant to go, where they're writing very discerning articles, where they're publishing in highly competitive journals, where you're doing the things that you're ostensibly supposed to do to be successful, but then the system complains that you're not doing stuff like tweeting or responding to emails within an hour, or all of the stuff that is shallow, that pulls us right out of that deep work. So, life's twists and turns are the deep work. They're part of what's calling us to depth. You hit an obstacle, a seeming obstacle, and you must pause and consider and think about, what are my options with this? I used to do an exercise with people. It was a hypnosis guided imagery thing when they were stuck. And I had them imagine being in the woods, and it's a thick woods on each side of this gravel path. And they're walking this path, and they come upon a boulder in the middle of their path, and that's their obstacle. And then we explore that boulder together. What's going to be the best way to deal with this? Do they have to smash the Pewadden out of it with some tools that they handily find nearby? Do they need to climb over? Do they need to dig under? Do they need to cut into the woods on either side to get around? What do they need to do? For some of them, again, this is guided imagery hypnosis. You can do amazing things, just like in dreams. You might be able to hold your hands up and shrink that down to a pebble. Maybe you carry that pebble with you then. Maybe there's a reminder there that's useful. Who knows? All manner of things are possible. All manner of things are possible. So this tree, at the point where it went boop and it hit that first spot where something interfered with its upward trajectory, what were its options? Keep trying to grow through whatever that obstacle is, head a different direction, stop and die. There you are. Notice the number of twists and turns this thing takes. It's not like it was one obstacle. It was an ongoing thing to mold this into this particular shape. What about us being molded? What do you think the divine is doing when obstacles arise? Oh, I wonder how they'll deal with this. Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. So, I want you to appreciate, I want you to reconsider and appreciate all the difficulties you've had in your life. What purpose have they served? How have they tempered your mettle? How have they made you a stronger, better, more thoughtful, more appreciative person in life? Okay? And then I'd like you to help one other person think about that also. Let's spread this word. So here's the quote. The quote is by J. Kim Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T. Life has many twists and turns. Good morning, Sue. Glad you're here. And sometimes what looks like a very bad day can just be clearing the way for good things to come. What a thought process, huh? What a thought process. Like my friend who says, I wonder how this is going to turn out. She already has that wisdom, that knowledge, that even the things that look pretty gnarly are bringing gifts. Yes, yes. Exactly. We can link arms. We can support each other. We can help each other walk through the difficulties. We want to be cautious that we don't spend a whole lot of time being each other's white-hot pity party. But we can whine and bitch and moan for a couple of minutes and then pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and move again. All right? So if that way is closed, what way is going to open up? And that's how I'm looking at this potential new obstacle with regard to the housing project. All right? If that door is going to close, what door is going to open? The universe will provide. If this thing is meant to happen, doors will open. New doors will open. So I'm open to receiving my open doors. So embrace life's twists and turns. That's our card for today. Embrace life's twists and turns. If you'd like to share some more in the feed, please do. It's always helpful when people put their 2 cents worth in, because then it's not just my perspective or whatever perspective is coming through me for the day, but it's what all of you are experiencing or have experienced in life. Share those things. For instance, when someone talks about, yeah, I had cancer 30 years ago, that can be helpful for someone who's newly diagnosed, because we tend to focus on the horror stories, right? And feel free to shut down people who are handing you their horror story. You don't need that. No, thank you. I'm not going there. Thanks anyway. Bye now. Take good care of yourself. Embrace life twists and turns. See where you go. Have an awesome Friday the 13th, a magical day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.